If you've left your corporate career to build your own business, you might be facing a marketing disconnect that rarely gets addressed. You're trying approaches that either feel completely inauthentic or totally overwhelming. You're following advice from experts who assume you want to build a business empire, when really, you want to build a sustainable business that has meaning, significance, or makes an impact. It may feel like you're choosing between two unsatisfying paths. Random marketing efforts that feel good but don't work consistently, or high pressure tactics that work but leave you feeling like you've recreated the corporate environment you've escaped. I'm Mike Schuster from FiddleSmart Marketing, and today I want to show you why this disconnect exists, and more importantly, why there's a third path you can choose that works differently. Over the past month, I've been studying and paying attention to the patterns around what works for values-driven entrepreneurs compared to what works in a more corporate environment. First, I looked at where marketing for entrepreneurs feels naturally engaging versus forced. And I discovered a lot are spending most of their time on activities that drain their energy. Then I identified foundation activities, those marketing approaches that work with their strengths and actually produce results. When looking at this closer, I realized most of my clients were giving these activities only 10 to 20% of their attention. And finally, I audited for corporate thinking, looking at which marketing activities required big budgets and teams versus what works for entrepreneurs. And those results, they were eye-opening. Overall, here's what I found. Talented professionals who excel in corporate environments before starting their own business often systematically choose marketing approaches that don't fit their new reality. So, why does this happen? Why do smart people make marketing choices that work against them? The answer? It lies in how we are trained to think about marketing in a more corporate environment, corporate mindset, or the corporate world. See, in corporate, we're taught that bigger budgets mean better results. More touch points create more opportunities. Consistency means doing the same thing everywhere. And success comes from optimizing proven systems. Don't get me wrong. These aren't wrong principles. They're just designed for enterprise scale businesses, not the reality of entrepreneurial life. See, when you apply corporate marketing thinking to a solopreneur or a small business, you end up with marketing budgets that don't match our revenue reality, strategies that require teams we don't have, tactics that are built for massive scale rather than personal connection, and systems that prioritize efficiency over authenticity. At the same time, many well-meaning experts unintentionally reinforce these patterns by teaching corporate marketing principles to small business owners and entrepreneurs. They assume you want to build a business empire, not a sustainable practice. They focus on scaling tactics, not strategic alignment. And they measure vanity metrics and the results, not meaningful business impact. So, if this feels overwhelming or misaligned, you're not alone. And there's a reason for that. See, you're trying to fit your values-driven business into a growth at all costs framework. This creates what I call the marketing fire problem. Let me explain by using a metaphor that might make it a little more concrete. Think about building a campfire. Most entrepreneurs end up with one of these types of fires or approaches. Scattered sparks. See, you're only going to get scattered sparks if you're using random marketing efforts that occasionally catch but lack the structure or the fuel to create sustained heat. You might try LinkedIn one week, start a podcast the next, then pivot to TikTok. Each effort might work briefly, but nothing catches and nothing builds momentum or the fire you're looking for. Or you might end up with smoldering embers. You'll get hot results from chasing a trend or a tactic, but it quickly dies out because there's no real strategy or set of values behind it. Maybe you have a viral post or a successful launch, but then crickets. The flame dies out, and all that you have left are the coals and the glow of a fire that seemed like it was going to start. See, without a strategic foundation and a real why and values to keep you going, even a good result isn't likely to last. Now, flash fires, those are different. Those you get when it's a growth at all costs approach. Oh, it's very strategic, but it's focused purely on transactions and sales rather than relationships. The fire burns intensely and it can produce impressive short-term results, but it consumes everything in its path with no regard to the damage it leaves to relationships, trust, or the long-term sustainability of your business. This is the corporate marketing approach that prioritizes metrics over meaning. And what you really need is a steady flame. Marketing that's well built and properly maintained to provide your business consistent warmth without constant rebuilding. Here's a key insight, though, that you don't want to forget. Your values aren't limitations in this process. They're actually like the fire ring that contains your marketing energy and prevents it from becoming a destructive fire that consumes everything in its path. See, the solution isn't another marketing tactic. It's actually a fundamentally different approach that's designed specifically for entrepreneurs who've left corporate careers to build something with significance, to leave an impact, or to have more meaning in their lives. It's what I call aligned marketing, where your marketing strategies work with your values instead of against them. See, this approach recognizes that the principles that work for entrepreneurs, relationships, authenticity, values alignment, well, they can actually work beautifully in a corporate setting too. The difference is that corporate growth often pressures businesses to abandon these principles over time in favor of growth at all costs. And as an entrepreneur, you have something corporate professionals don't. You have the freedom to build these principles into your foundation and never compromise them. I've developed a complete framework for this approach. It follows 3 strategic phases, uses a systematic implementation process, and provides a strategic foundation that makes even AI tools truly effective for your business. But more than tactics, it's about alignment. It's about marketing that works with you and it works with who you are instead of against it, instead of against who you are. Now, if this resonates with your situation, here's what I want you to do. First, stop trying to force corporate marketing tactics into your entrepreneurial reality. Start with the foundational work. Take a moment. Identify where your marketing feels naturally engaging versus draining. Then focus on your strength-aligned activities. And audit yourself for corporate thinking that doesn't really serve you. Second, recognize that you're not broken if marketing feels hard to you. You've just been using the wrong approach for your strengths and your situation. And third, stay tuned. Over the coming weeks, I'm going to be introducing the complete FiddleSmart approach, the methodology I've developed specifically for values-driven entrepreneurs who want sustainable growth without compromising their values. This isn't another collection of tactics. It's a strategic framework that'll help you build marketing that feels as natural as talking about your work with someone who needs exactly what you offer. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, Mike, this makes sense, but I need help figuring out where to start with my specific situation. Well, that's exactly what I help with in my Now What Clarity sessions. These are free conversations where we'll look at your current marketing situation, your current business challenges and goals, and identify your most impactful next marketing move. It's not a sales call. It's just strategic clarity about whether you should focus on clarifying your message, simplifying your approach, or amplifying your impact. Sometimes a single conversation is all you need to bring clarity to what you've been missing for months. So if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and get clear direction, book your session today. The link is in the description. And if you're ready to move from scattered efforts to strategic clarity, the best is yet to come. So until next time, remember, sustainable marketing isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters in a way that honors your values. Again, I'm Mike Schuster from FiddleSmart Marketing, and I'm here to help you build marketing that works with who you are, not against it.